The next step up from there is one of these. You can set up a virtually maintenance. The next step up from 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 the next the next step up from there. The next. Any questions? And Action Jackson. G'day, Russell from Aussie Mushroom Suppliers, and we're back again. Today we're talking terrariums and fruiting rooms. This is a really important thing to fruit mushrooms with, so let's get into it. The first sort of stage of your fruiting terrarium is a small terrarium like this. All you need is a spray bottle and a small dome. You can create a humid area for your mushrooms. Mushrooms do breathe oxygen like we do, so you do need some kind of gas exchange. So something small like this, you just take the lid off, fan out a few times a day. That's pretty simple. All you have to do is spray with water, keep water droplets on the side of the lid, and you know it's humid enough for your mushrooms. There's different levels or size fruiting rooms you can make, and we'll cover all the different equipment you're going to need for those different size rooms. You can start from something really small like this, or up to a 20-40 foot container. We'll start with our small terrarium. If you check out our little setup guide on our website, this actually comes in our large DIY kit. It's a really simple, basic way to get started for doing small amounts of mushrooms. The next stage from there, you can go to a shotgun terrarium. Make sure you go over to our YouTube channel and look up our Making a Shotgun Terrarium. You can fit a lot more in these, and you can sort of leave them and forget about them. They're a lot less little work because you don't have to keep an eye on them as much as something small like this. So definitely watch that video. It covers all the ins and outs of shotgun terrariums. The next step up from a shotgun terrarium is something like a walk-in greenhouse. When you start to get to this sort of size area, you need a humidifier. So we sell these Terrarium humidifiers on our website. They're virtually a set and forget kind of unit. You just set the humidity you want, plug it into your mains water, just clean it out once a month, and it's that simple. Simples. The thing with a walk-in greenhouse, it's probably not quite big enough for setting up an airflow system. You can get a small fan to sort of create some airflow. Make sure you're blowing fresh air in near the roof of your greenhouse and your air out is coming out against the bottom. Mushrooms breathe oxygen like we do, and the CO2 is heavy and you want to blow that out of the room. There's lots of different ways to do it. We've got other controllers, so if you want cheap misting humidifiers, we've got little controllers to help you turn your humidifier on and off as you need it. One big problem with humidifiers, if you don't have a controller on it, things just get way too wet or they're too dry. It can be a lot of problems. So something simple like this, is just set your desired turn on, turn off humidity, and you can just leave it to it. Once you start getting large amounts of mushrooms in a small space, you need to start thinking seriously about airflow. Also keeping the place clean. We use one of these pre-filters and a fan setup. You don't need heaps of airflow, but you need enough to keep the CO2 level down in your room. So generally, you filter the air going into your room. It'll help keep your mushrooms cleaner and your room cleaner. People also put filters on their air extraction, so you suck the air out rather than blow it in. You can suck it through this filter, which will catch all the spores for your mushrooms if you forget to harvest them and they throw their spores everywhere. This will stop your house getting dirty. Once you start getting up to sort of container size grows, send us an email. We've got a little setup guide we can send you where to put your filters and fans and things like that. Here we have our test fruiting container. We've got a air in duct with a filter system attached to it. So in this container we've got humidity sensors, lighting, biggest things mushrooms like, humidity and fresh air, and enough light to read a book. We've got plenty of light in this container though. So here we are in our fruiting container control room. We have a split system. It's set to 18 degrees, but it keeps the room about 14 degrees. Humidifier, which sucks air out of this filtered room and then blows nice humid air into the container. Oh, and here we have our air in. It's on a speed controller, so we can just turn it up and down, and that sucks through our filter from outside. So fresh air comes in here, nice and filtered, gets cooled, and then goes through our humidifier into our room. Yeah, nice and easy. Let's go check out it being humidified. You'll see our fog starting to come out. And just close it down the room. One thing people forget about is temperature control. It's not a huge necessity majority of the year, but in summertime you may need to add cooling, or at the peak of winter you might want to add some heating. Anywhere between 10 and 20 degrees, most mushrooms will grow. and then some will grow up to sort of 30 degrees. Make sure you check the temperature ranges of your mushrooms you're growing and try and keep them within the range your area is at. You can get a little temperature monitor to keep an eye on your temperatures, but it's not a huge problem. Mushrooms are pretty versatile and will fruit in sort of a wide range.
Tips for your fruiting room. Mushrooms breathe oxygen like we do and expel CO2, so you need fresh air. Constant light fresh air from a small fan is a must. If you have a big fan that's lots of rushing air, it will dry things out even with 100% humidity. If your oyster mushrooms are growing more stem than cap, it means you've got too much CO2 build up and you need a bit more fresh air. If you have weird colours or random things growing on your mushrooms, you may need to clean your room. You need to give your fruiting room a good clean once a week and once a month a big disinfection. Humidity, mushrooms love it between 80 to 90%. Anywhere in this area will keep your mushrooms nice and happy. Some require a bit higher, maybe up to 94%, but once you start getting too high, you'll start having water all over your floor. Lighting. Mushrooms need light. Enough light to read a book is enough for your mushrooms, so general LED lights will work quite well. Temperature. Mushrooms like cool temperatures, generally between 15 to 20 degrees. Some do like it warmer, but generally when you're fruiting, mushrooms like it cold. When it's cooler, they grow slower and more dense and therefore a lot heavier, and they taste much better when they grow slower. If it's too hot in your fruiting room, the mushrooms will be a bit soggy and grow really quickly, but they won't taste as nice. And that's it. If you keep all those tips in mind, you'll have great success.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you watch our setting up a shotgun terrarium video and make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out. Don't forget to check out our website for all these products. We'll catch you next time.